I am the Professor and Chair of the Department of Molecular and Human Genetics here at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. I am a physician scientist. I study for my whole career genetic diseases that impact the skeleton in children and adults, and also how they could contribute to cancer. And I'm also the President of the Texas Academy of Medicine, Engineering, Science, and Technology. So TAMEST is an amazing organization. I think one of the first of its kind, and the vision of Senator K. Bailey Hutchinson and the Nobel laureates, the late Richard Smalley and also Michael Brown. And they had the vision of bringing together a society of really the leading scientists and physicians in the state of Texas. The purpose was to really, I would say, develop and support science and the next generation of talent. So I think the very most important mission of TAMEST has been to support the talent pipeline, specifically in the areas of medicine, science, engineering, and technology. I think the deliverable was to really move Texas science to the forefront of the nation, but in so doing, really rev up the economy of Texas, because we know that the investment in science and medicine has delivered in spades for the nation. And I think when you look back in the now close to 20 years, we have in fact brought research dollars and have brought economic growth and in fact brought talent to Texas. And so we've been really excited by this vision of K. Bailey Hutchinson, and now to really seen this come to fruition. I think identifying the rising stars and supporting them and giving them national recognition. So one of the major programs of TAMEST is, of course, the O'Donnell Awards, and I have been lucky enough to be a previous awardee. And I would say I am a product of the whole TAMEST mission. Identifying rising stars, scientists, physicians, nurturing them, exposing them to role models, as well as providing them the environment and the context to advance nationally until you get the recognition of something like election to one of the national academies. So certainly as a strategy, it has been enormously effective. One of the important consequences of that strategy is that it puts TAMEST in a position of great expertise and convening power for us to help the state tackle important questions and identify areas of need. TAMEST is a society of action. It's always thinking, and we are always thinking about what can we do next beyond the O'Donnell Awards. How can we really develop a pipeline even earlier in the early career space, in the cancer space, in the space of innovation. So really, I think it's a group of people who have certainly attained a certain level of recognition, but then giving back to help the state sustain the talent pipeline. Without talent, health, education, research, technology dries up. I may be the first president of TAMEST who actually was an O'Donnell awardee, and as such, I am literally a product of TAMEST. I am, I think, the manifestation of that vision and mission. And I think, as such, I'm especially sensitive to expanding the impact of TAMEST and sort of defining the spectrum of rising star. You have a rising star at the O'Donnell level, which is sort of individuals who've really achieved a lot and may be on the verge of being a National Academy member. But there are so many other stars rising earlier. So I think that beginning to emphasize and focus on early career rising stars is something that I'm passionate about, and I think TAMEST is. If you think back to our primary mission about the pipeline, industry, just like academia, needs talent. And so we want to be that sort of partner with industry to identify the talent, to in fact be the next generation of technology awardees, which is focused on industry for the O'Donnell. So that's certainly an enormous sort of area of overlap. I think the second, of course, is while TAMEST was founded on the idea of bringing more research dollars to Texas in terms of federal research dollars, and we've been very successful with that, we also want to bring industry dollars in terms of, because both drive the economy, and that then has all the downstream effects on health and quality of life. And so really, you can't do one without the other. And finally, you touched on the issue of impact. Research, especially in the basic sciences and in the academic realm, are an enormous sort of hotbed for proving principles and demonstrating possibilities. Industry and commercialization is really the only way we turn that into things that affect everybody's life on a daily basis. So while we may find the cure to cancer at Baylor College of Medicine, it's industry that will get that cure to every patient. Broadening the impact. And with the support of the O'Donnell Foundation, in fact, we've now increased the O'Donnell Awards. And so I think in 5 years, I'd like to see that continue. Not necessarily more O'Donnell Awards, but more mechanisms to identify and recognize talent earlier on in the pipeline. So I think that would be an important mission of mine and of our society, to perhaps go to early career, establish new faculty, maybe even before at the undergraduate or graduate levels. I think that will be important. I think the other is to really become the source of expertise and partner for the state to help address all the big problems we have today. Not that we can solve all of them, but that we can help, partner with stakeholders, whether at the state level or in the legislature or in industry or in academia, to begin to tackle these problems as sort of a source of expertise and as a partner.